Okay, it looks like the entries have slowed down, so we'll go ahead and get started. Good morning. My name is Jim Harrison. I'm with the Arizona Manufacturing Extension Partnership, and we work under the ACA to help manufacturers in the state of Arizona. I'm very happy to welcome Falcon Engineering in Mesa, Arizona, and Shauna Fantasia, the owner, and Imagine Manufacturing from Gilbert, Arizona, and David Chino, the owner. They've been very helpful in opening up their plants, and I'm thankful for that, to bring in cameras and show you what their manufacturing plant's all about, explain some things, how the machines work, what they do, who their customers are, and what types of jobs that they have available there. So if you have any questions during the program, please enter them in the comments or the Q&A section, and then I will field them as they come in and ask them to either Shauna or David. So without any further ado, we'll go ahead and get started. We're going to start with Falcon Engineering in Mesa, Arizona. Go ahead and take it away, Shauna.
Thank you so much. Let me get this going. So I am super excited to be here with the MEP. And they did a wonderful video of our facility, a little bit about Falcon Engineering Corporation. Falcon was actually created in 2014, and our goal was to support the military and aerospace divisions. And we are unique in that we're the only small business in the US that's AS9100 100 that does technical textiles and hardware manufacturing. And ironically, we're located at the Mesa Gateway Airport. And we have about 45,000 square feet in manufacturing space. And we have several different suites. So we have one that is dedicated to medical textiles. We have one that's dedicated to military textiles, one that is fabrication, welding, CNC hardware, and also chemical processing. Let me go ahead and start the video. Okay, in this video right here, you can see we're actually one of the few designers in the US that does medical textiles. And the vice presidents, Adam Fuse and Bruce Johnson, are with me. We have several clients that we manufacture PPE for. Banner is one of our largest clients, and we have several other hospital networks that we're working with as well. And most people look at clothing and other textiles and they don't realize that there's just as much design effort that is required in those as you deal with hardware. Seam construction, shapes, dimensions, all must be tested and they go to laboratories. And what makes PPE unique is that all the seams must be sealed, and we're actually experts in parachute design and construction. And so the same theories that we utilized in manufacturing our military parachutes, we actually utilize in manufacturing PPE for hospital networks. And in this video is actually our Ppe Factory. And right now, this production line is manufacturing all the gowns for Banner that the doctors and nurses and techs wear there. These are reusable. And we actually worked with the MEP and Adam to create these lines and do lean manufacturing. And so we were able to get our tack time from 25 minutes down to just a few minutes. I think we're about 13 minutes or so getting products through the lines. So everything is timed, everything is placed in a certain place. We actually did some studies. We moved trash cans, and we were able to take, was it 70,000 minutes off of our whole production time. And when a project like this comes together, it actually takes an entire team. We have individuals who are engineers who are working on this. We have individuals who are prototypers in textiles. We have mechanics. We have the sewing technicians. We actually also have accountants working on these projects. And so it takes people with a diverse background to make a project like this all come together. We even have, a team of electricians that work, with the project manager to build out the floor design. And in this video right here, you can actually see several of the sewing technicians sewing. And a lot of people don't realize technical textiles is very custom. All the machines, just like with other industries, are custom. There's not just one type of sewing machine. We actually have sewing machines that do different types of things. Some of them are programmable, where we actually have a technician that programs them, just like a CNC machine or software. They do software coding on sewing machines to pre-program, and everything is automatically sewn, boxes or bar tacks. And so in this production line, we're actually using single needles as well as sergers. In this video, this is actually one of our favorite pieces of equipment. This is called, it's a Pathfinder, and it is a cutting machine. And so we were able to get one of these machines, and it actually cuts all of our fabric for us. A lot of factories actually cut everything by hand, and they spread all of the fabric layer by layer. And here we actually have several interns that get to work on these projects. And so they work with the engineers. And we had one of our ASU students work with our team. And on the back half of this machine, you'll see that there are rolls lined up. And so we actually created a system that pulls anywhere from 7 to 14 rolls of fabric all at once. And so instead of just one layer of fabric going through, we're able to have 7 to 14 layers and have 14 times the amount of items cut in the same time that we had one item cut. And as you saw on the back, there were all of the rolls of fabric that were all lined up. And you can see the gentleman right here. He is actually working with the machine, and it is automatically cutting, and the fabric is coming out one end, and he stacks it and then prepares it for the production line. In the production line, we're actually able to take people with no experience of sewing, and we go through and we have a little training program, and we train them to do different operations. And then we look at their times on different areas and we assign them appropriately. And it takes about 2 weeks, but we're able to take someone without sewing skills and teach them the correct operation that we need on the line. Right here, this is actually a heat press machine, and we do heat press transfers onto items, onto gowns, to label them for the various hospitals. So this video right here is actually our quality division. And in the quality division, we actually have quite a lot of different pieces of equipment. And the equipment that we utilize, we have everything from CMM machines to Cncs to various pin gauges, height gauges, and these actually require experience in programming. So just like with the sewing, these machines are actually programmed, the software is programmed to inspect pieces of equipment. Our textiles are actually inspected using rulers and other more simple pieces of inspection equipment. But our CNC machine, our hardware, the things that are made on our CNC machines are using CMMs. The Cnc is our latest piece of inspection equipment, and it actually uses light and to measure all of the dimensions on a flat surface piece. When you get into more complex pieces, a lot of times you'll use a CMM. And as far as training programs, community colleges oftentimes have various programs to train individuals for the software. Other times people actually learn on the job and are able to pick up the skills through some years of tutoring from experienced individuals in their companies. So right here is Bruce Johnson, and he is actually utilizing the Cnc that I just mentioned. And this is actually programmed. And this is something that you are not going to learn in school, but the companies provide training for this, this piece of equipment. And you program it in a software module. And oftentimes when we do inspections, we actually utilize more than one piece of equipment. Sometimes a particular dimension is best on one machine, and then another dimension is actually going to be best on another machine. So in this video, you can actually see where the Cnc has actually scanned the item. And then the dimensions it is measuring, and you can see the dimensions on the screen and look to see if they're within the tolerances required by your drawing. And in this video, Bruce Johnson actually using a height gauge, and sorry, let me see if I can expand this. Oh, sorry about that. So Bruce Johnson right here is actually utilizing a height gauge, and the height gauge right here is utilized for various measurements that maybe we're not going to do on the CMM. And a lot of times in the shop, we'll use height gauges before they go to quality just to do an initial inspection. In this video, you can actually see this is our fabrication and weld shop. And in this shop, we actually have an exciting program right now. For all of you guys who have seen some various movies, we are doing the Abrams tank. And you often see those in some fun military movies. So we actually do the top portion of it. The military has a bustle rack on the top where all of its communication equipment resides. And so in this shop, we have several welders and fabricators who work together once the parts have come from the CNC shop. And they use MIG and TIG welding to put together these various tank racks. When it comes to MIG and TIG welding, some people do learn those trades on the job, and other times people actually go to a community college and they are able to learn those skills there as well. So right here, we actually have James, our lead, who is welding together the tank rack. And the tank racks actually have very tight tolerances. And so they have to be able to build jigs and hold these items in place to be able to weld. In welding, there's a lot of different areas that you can work in. There's a lot of commercial and then also aerospace as well. And there's different types of welding, and there's some very extreme welding methodologies that are used when you go into aerospace, and also welding that's used for NASA projects. This next shop that we're in is actually the CNC shop, and this is Dennis. He's our machine shop manager, and he's actually standing right now at a CNC a Haas machine. And this one actually works on 4 axes, and it's one of our newer machines. And we have, I believe, about 11 different machines in our machine shop. Now, when it comes to training for this, there are some people who do on-the-job training to learn how to run the machine. But when it comes to programming, a lot of people go to a community college or another type of college to learn the various software and the methodologies of how to program. A lot of different tooling is required, and understanding how the tooling is utilized in the programming. And so every programmer has different methodologies that they like, and tooling that they like to use. And in the manufacturing floor, we try to standardize the tooling and to simplify the production. Now, in our shop, we do a lot of onesie twosies. Some companies do a lot of high rate production, and a lot of our items actually go into satellite systems. And we predominantly do a lot of work for L3 Harris Corporation. And so right now, Dennis is standing in front of the Haas, and the part in that machine is actually going into the Boeing SLS system. And so that part is the speaker box that the astronauts are going to use and are going to talk into. Right now, so Dennis is actually doing the setup, and the parts that we do that go into various space systems and satellite systems are very complex, and some of them take several weeks to manufacture just one item, and several times they have to do trials. Because of the tight tolerances on these parts, we actually have to control the temperature of the room and as well as inspection. Just changing the temperature a few degrees between the inspection room and the machining room can actually change the tolerances. And the machinists actually use quite a handful of different types of metals. They utilize the Inconels, and they utilize aluminum, titanium, and then they have them coated, painted with a lot of unique different types of coatings and paintings where we have to ship them all around the US just to have the coatings put on. Now in this video is an example of various tooling that goes into the CNC machine. There are thousands of different types of tools that you can utilize. As I mentioned, we try and standardize what we use in programming just to make it easier. But a lot of times we have to get very customized tools, even sometimes make some to be able to make the parts that we do. So in this video right here, Dennis is actually taking that part off the machine and using a Tesla height gauge. And what he's doing is he's just doing an initial first inspection on the part to make sure that it's in tolerance before he puts it back on the machine. Now, this is actually my favorite shop. This is the Textile Shop for the military products. And we are only one of 3 left now in the US that are qualified to manufacture these items. In textiles, there's some very customized textiles that are used in aviation for the military. And in this video, you can actually see right in front of you are piles of parachutes called the G12. If you see in any movies, military movies, where they're dropping things out of the back of a military plane, first a little small parachute comes out and then a large one. These are the small ones. They're called pilot chutes. And they take quite a bit of engineering in them. And the materials that go into them are actually all custom woven, custom dyed, custom coated. And so these materials can take up to 12 weeks. Sometimes I've had materials take a year to get because they've had to engineer the actual materials to figure out how to get the right weights and colors and consistencies. This shop is unique in that we've got probably 30 different types of machines. Some of these machines actually were custom built. We took sewing machines from World War II that were used for parachutes. We had them cut in half, extended and re-welded, and then converted to manufacture and sew with 8 needles at one time. So right in front of you, you can see is a large yellow parachute. That parachute actually is the large parachute, and you'll see in a minute, there's a picture that goes behind the B-52 nuclear bombers. The US military actually still utilizes the B-52s from World War II, and we manufacture the parachutes that land the nuclear fleet. They are so heavy, the planes, that they have to throw a parachute out the back to slow them down on the runway. And because of the payload that they carry, they need to make sure that they're able to slow down time for the length of the runway. The parachute that you see, the yellow one, has 49 gores, and those are sections of the parachute. And each of those gores takes about 2 hours just to pin together. And then they're sewn together. And then I believe this is a 64-foot parachute. So a parachute like this is about $25,000 or $30,000 for that parachute. And as they land, actually the ribbons in them are so thin that occasionally they tear out. And so we actually make replacement gores for the military to sew in as the various gores wear out. In this sewing shop, I mentioned earlier that we've got maybe about 30 different types of sewing machines. We've got ones that are extended. We even have some that are 100 years old. They built them great a long time ago. And so occasionally we pick up some old singers that you would see in a museum. We also have sewing machines that do just specifically heavy weights, light weights, medium weights. And we've got ones that are straight needle, double needle, 4 needle, 8 needles, zigzags. And then we actually have programmable machines in here as well. Some of these machines, when you look at maybe your backpacks, there are box X's that are sewing places, sewing various spots on your backpacks. And that is all done with a programmable machine. And we do that with various pieces of webbing within the shop to speed up the production time. Now right here we have Sakura. She's actually sewing one of the G12 parachutes. And these parachutes take a high-level sewer. You know, a lot of these are very technical, and some things that we have that are sewn in here, like that B52, has 1,000 different dimensions on it, and all have to be within 1/8 of an inch. And fabric shrinks, moves, and so a lot of these sewers actually have over 30 years of experience in sewing technical textiles, specifically parachutes and high-end military projects. Now right here, I've got Adam and Bruce showing off our B52 parachute. A project like this, just like the medical textiles, requires an entire team. It requires your manufacturing engineers, creating bills of material, looking at drawings, your prototypers, creating patterns. And you've got your supply chain who's looking to make sure that we've got the right materials that are on the bill of materials. And then you've got facility engineers who are making sure that they've got the right equipment and the line set up, as well as individuals who are into lean manufacturing to look at the processes to make sure that we can do it efficiently and have a quality product as well. So on this wall, you can see the B-52 parachute that is open up behind the nuclear bomber. There's also a picture of the G12, and there's the go bag as well. We manufacture the go bags that sit behind the pilots in the various helicopters that the military utilizes. They are ESD fabrics, so that if a plane goes down, the communication equipment in the bag will not be affected. We also, on the bottom left side, you can see there is a go bag. It's kind of a little bit difficult to see. That is actually my favorite project. It was actually, it took about a year to get out. It required custom engineered fabric as well as actual testing. The military had to acquire a Stinger missile to go do drop testing to make sure that our product met the specifications. I believe it was a year ago at Christmas time. The U.S. Embassy was attacked in Baghdad, and we got a call from the military stating they needed our products for the special forces that day. And so we actually had to get an airplane and get all of these boxed up and in one day on a plane to be shipped to Italy for the troops that were leaving out of Italy to Baghdad. So a lot of times we actually have to work under pressure, get things out to the military last minute. And a lot of our products occasionally we'll see, are being utilized by special forces and in various things that we'll see in the news. So Bruce Johnson is actually pointing out the G12 that I mentioned before. It's the little mini parachute that is ejected before the large main parachute out of the back of cargo planes. Right here is just an example of the strap assemblies that we manufacture, and those actually use the CNC programmable sewing machines that I talked about that utilize box X's. Well, that is Falcon Engineering in a nutshell. Like I said, we're experts in hardware and textiles, and we predominantly support the military and aerospace, and we absolutely love what we do here.
Thank you, Shauna. Just had a couple of very quick questions. How many employees do you have at Falcon?
Absolutely. We actually have over 100, and we have quite a bit of projects in the back burner right now. So we look to hire about 50 more sewing individuals.
Oh, wow. Okay. And do you hire high school students?
Excellent question. So we can't hire those who are under 18 because of various OSHA laws, but if somebody is 18, we can.
And do those positions require experience to start?
No, we actually do have some general laborers and sewers who are 18 in high school. And then we also have 18-year-olds who are interns from various community colleges that we do hire.
That's great. Well, we appreciate you sharing your business with us, and we'll look forward to working with you again.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Any other questions?
I don't see anything. Maybe at the end, if some come up, we can circle back.
Okay, wonderful.
All right. So next we have David Chino from Imagine Manufacturing in Gilbert, Arizona, and I'll let him go ahead and take it away.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Imagine Manufacturing. We are sort of similar to Falcon in a number of different ways, that we are a manufacturer of products for other people, but we also manufacture a lot of different products for ourselves. And let me cue up the video here. If it'll let me do that.
Are you able to share it, or do you need me to share it?
Actually, why don't you go ahead and share it? For some reason, it's not letting me all of a sudden.
Okay, let me pull it up here. That one. Okay. Let me.
Apologize about that.
Oh, that's fine. I'm just trying to get to where I can. Okay, here we go. Share. There we go. I'll go ahead and play, and you can tell me when you want me to pause.
Okay. Like I had mentioned before, we do several different things here, but basically what we are is what I consider as a production solutions company. So we have a few different disciplines that we specialize in. And one of those being, as we come into the shop here, we are a contract manufacturer of electronics assemblies, machining products, graphic solutions, and also welding and fabricating. So our main part of our shop, as you first come in here, as we're walking in here, is our electronics facility. And if you want to take a pause here, in this shop, we do contract manufacturing of electronic assemblies for a number of different customers across the country. And we build basically the insides of products for a number of different customers. So when you buy a phone or a computer, there's circuit boards inside, and all those circuit boards have a number of different components that go onto those circuit boards to make them function. And then there's software that's loaded into the programs, into the boards that actually make them do the things that they do. And we do this for a number of different customers, from medical devices to microwave security systems to satellite modem communications. And then we have a number of military applications. And like Falcon, we also manufacture for the space industry. So we manufacture boards for Northrop Grumman in their launch division for the boards that control the rockets that when they take the satellites up into orbit. And you can press play here now. And so all our machines, everything pretty much we do is automated. So these machines, what's called surface mount technology. So the boards are basically built by computers, and they're programmed by operators. And you can stop here also. To build the assemblies from raw. So we take raw components and the machines actually put them down. So a lot of our assemblies will have thousands of different components that go onto the circuit board. And they're all programmed by operators and individually by board to board. What this gentleman is doing here now is part of our automated optical inspection. So after circuit boards are built and all the components are placed down, this machine actually goes through with a computer vision and make sure all the components are in the exact same place and they're the right values and they're also in the right orientation. You can press continue there. We have a number of different disciplines that we use in this type of the factory. The machine operators for operating the machines that place the components, the people that actually inspect the boards, and then we also have materials procurement. So this is our raw inventory where everything starts before it gets placed into the machines. And this is kind of an overview of our actual factory floor. You can pause here also. So also a lot like Falcon, we have some very delicate, very intricate types of operations that happen to these circuit boards after they're done being processed on the machinery. So there's a lot of things that still in this day and age have to be done by hand, and it's very skilled, intricate labor. And what this person here is doing, what we call a second level touch up. So it's all done hand soldering, done with very small components and very small wire solder. So it's basically welding on a very small level. Go ahead and press play there, Jim. So you can see it's very tiny components, very delicate handling. And a lot of our operators have been doing this also for 30 years, plus years actually. I think the average age of our second level operator is probably close to 50 years old. It's a skill that's very difficult to learn. It takes a long time. And we typically train everybody from the ground up. They start in our facility. Most of my employees have been here for 20 plus years. And then this operator here is actually one of our interns. He's actually an engineering student at Chandler Gilbert. And he is working on what's called you can pause it here, Jim. This is a machine that actually is automated soldering. So it basically does the job of a human, but it does it automated upside down. Then on the back side of the business here, you'll see this is our CNC operating facility. So we also, very similar to Falcon, we do CNC products. And the unique thing kind of about what we do contract manufacturing and build other customers' products, but we also have our own line of products here. And we manufacture a number of different products for Harley Davidson motorcycles. And then we also have our own product line for the equestrian industry. So we do a whole bunch of different things on this side of the business. You can press play and kind of give you a fly. But these are some of our Harley Davidson accessories that we've been making for a number of years. And you pause it here. And this is part of our programming and manufacturing. So this is one of our younger employees doing the CNC programming. You'll find on this side of our business, pretty much everybody is pretty young, and they started with us at a young age. And we actually do a lot of on-site training, and we actually prefer to do on-site training because we can kind of teach them how we like to do things and the quality level that our customers expect. So we also have run Haas machines in our facility and operators, kind of the same kind of concept that we saw before at Falcon. So a little bit of overview. We also do TIG and MIG welding also on a little bit smaller level in Falcon, but we kind of do a little bit of everything in our facility. Like I said, we're kind of a production solution company. In this portion of the business, we do graphic printing, and then this is assembly of our equestrian product that we all do by, everything is pretty much handcrafted. And so we do a little bit of different things here. You can continue on here. We do large format. So our business does quite a few different things. So we do a lot of large format graphic printing on this side of the business. We do direct to garment printing also on this side of the business. And we also do what's kind of unique is UV part marking. So we do a lot of printing for the military that goes, instead of silk screening a product, we actually print it with UV printing, which is indelible in the sun for a number of different years. And then actually, you saw just a second ago, we also manufacture billet wheelchair wheels. We're the only manufacturer in the world that makes a billet wheelchair wheel. So it's kind of a quick overview of what we do. Except there's a lot of different opportunities in our company. And I know one of the questions before, do we hire high school students? We absolutely do. We like to get them, out of internship programs and then start them. And like I said, a lot of our employees have been here for a number of years and start with us at a very young age. So we always welcome that.
Thanks, Dave. I have a few questions here from the audience. First, this is for both Falcon and Imagine. So if Shauna, you want to chime in on this as well. Would you have interest in participating in a local job shadow program?
Yeah, absolutely.
Shauna?
Yes, absolutely. We would be interested.
That's great. The next question is, my organization provides a program where local educators tour businesses. Are you open to providing site tours at this time?
We are. In fact, Falcon regularly has ASU, Polytechnic come through with students.
Same with us. We were open to have on-site tours. Not a problem.
Okay, great. Questions are still continuing to roll in here. What is your minimum for customers that are building prototype electronic boards? So I think that's maybe a potential customer question.
You gotta love that. Actually, always we do products for, when we're building some boards that go up into space. We're building one or two of something. We prefer to build products when we do prototype work. We prefer to have a potential to go into production. Our specialty is really low volume, high quality, high mix production boards, but we welcome production or prototype builds as small as one or two pieces.
Okay. And here's another one for you, David. We often get requests for contract manufacturing. What would be a summary of products you would consider making? And I know you showed a bunch of different things that you do there. So
that's kind of a case by case business. We probably do almost everything except, I would say, except for plastic injection molding. Everything else, and anything has to do with metal fabrication, CNC milling, electronics manufacturing, product fulfillment, graphic printing. Pretty much, there's a pretty wide range. If you go to our website, which is Imagine Manufacturing, imaginemfg.com, has a pretty good list of everything that we do.
Okay, thank you. And I guess this would be for both you and Shauna. What kind of environmental compliance regulatory hot topics are you facing these days?
Well, for us, we're constantly managed by the town of Gilbert in regards to our water discharge. But in recent years, we've actually gone to a process what's called basically zero lead emissions and zero wastewater. So, years ago, there used to be quite a bit of environmental concerns around the manufacturing of circuit board assemblies, but that's pretty much gone away over the last 5 years. Other than that, everything else, we are self-contained. We don't discharge any waste. Any waste that we do is handled off-site by third parties.
Okay.
Falcon is the same. We actually do not worry about any chemical waste. All of our CNC Shop metal is actually recycled. And then we are getting into recycling the scraps from our textiles as well.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone else in the audience have additional questions? Go ahead and put them in the questions and answer. Here's another one for you, Dave. What's a typical day look like there at Imagine Manufacturing?
Kind of depends on what department you're in, but we have several different shifts. We start at 6 in the morning and work till midnight every day in the machining area, and electronics works from 7 to 3:30. So typically you walk in and you start your day, and your supervisor will pretty much lay out what your work schedule is for the day. Everything is based on work travelers that we have and work instructions. So depending on what department you're in and what job you're working on, it's pretty much spelled out by your supervisor and work, like I said, work instructions. In the electronics area, there's quite a few different departments, so there's a lot of things going on. And then back in the CNC, it's pretty much our jobs. We run more of production work in the CNC area, so the jobs run for days at a time. So, it could be setting up a job, it could be continuing running production on a job, all different things. We try to move people around quite a bit and cross train as many people as possible, just so it makes us more flexible and makes our delivery to our customers more flexible. If we get a bubble in one area, we can move people around and make it more interesting.
Okay. And this is for both of you again. Are your organizations ISO certified? And if so, how do you motivate your customers, for those that you basically do contract manufacturing for, to build continuous improvement into their designs?
That's an excellent question. We're actually a step above ISO. Falcon actually has quite a bit of various certifications. So we are ISO certified and we're AS 9100 certified. A lot of products that we build, it is actually required by our customers. And then to improve the design, sometimes they're historic designs, which unfortunately, because of all the product testing, I gave the example of the jump pack that the Stinger missile had to be acquired. Sometimes the testing is quite expensive, in the 6 figures, and so they're not interested in doing continuous design. Other times we're able to meet with their engineers and give various ideas on how to improve the design with our manufacturing team. And another hot topic right now is not just the ISO AS 9100 certification, but the CMMC certification, which the government rolled out a little while ago. And in the industry of manufacturing with the military and aerospace, cybersecurity is quite a concern. And so we have jumped through those expensive hoops to be compliant with that as well.
Okay, and David?
We also are actually AS 9100 certified, and really for us, what we press for with our customer base, especially in the electronic side, is a design for manufacturing. So when a customer comes to us with a design, we spend a lot of time going back and forth on how they can modify their designs to be more friendly in the manufacturing environment. A lot of times engineers design things to work and don't think about who has to make it. So we spend a lot of time going back and forth, working with them on how to make it manufacturable and how to make it affordably manufacturable. And we do that on both sides of the business. But quality is a big thing. And matter of fact, we really look for customers that quality is one of their main concerns.
Okay. And then when building prototypes for clients, Can you supply the components or do they need to purchase them themselves?
We do both. We do both full turnkey manufacturing and also consigned manufacturing. So if a customer comes in and has their own products, they can bring a kit to us and we will manufacture it, or we can supply the entire bill of materials for them.
We do the
Okay.
same as well.
Same with you, Shauna?
Yes.
Okay. And then for each of you, how long have you been in your current facilities?
For us in this facility, we just moved in here in July, and we were in our previous facility for 30 years, or almost 30 years, 27 years. But this one is a brand new facility for us.
So Falcon has been in its facility for 2 years, and we've actually only been manufacturing since 2018.
Okay. And let's see. What are some of the qualities that you find valuable in employees? What are some of the things that students who are interested in manufacturing can do to give them an advantage?
I think that's an excellent question. And I think one of the things that I look for is a student who is teachable. There is so much to learn, and everyone in our facility is learning new things on a daily basis. And even myself, I am constantly learning things from others. And so that is just fundamental, to be able to be teachable.
I completely agree. And for us, I mean, I hire on attitude. I used to take into consideration a lot about education and so on and so forth. Right now, we really look for people that are teachable, and teachable comes with attitude. If you've got a good attitude, you can teach them anything. We can take people that have absolutely zero experience that want to learn and teach them really anything that we do in our facility.
Okay. Okay. Since you're both secure, do you have Wi-Fi in your factory? If yes, is it locked down so employees can't use their personal devices?
That's an excellent question. With the CMMC requirements, we actually do have secure Wi-Fi, and then we actually have a separate Wi-Fi that is secure, but not attached to our various secured systems that employees can get on.
That is a good question. I don't get that right, but yes, we have exactly the same way. We have a secure Wi-Fi. Then we also have what we call a guest Wi-Fi that is also secure, but that's what our employees would use.
Okay. And I think this one can be for both of you as well. So David, first you, how did you end up in business for yourself some 30 years ago?
I started by getting fired by my father. And I had just graduated from ASU, and I was going to work actually. I was supposed to go to work for a large retail firm, and then I was convinced to go work for my father's company in a family business, and subsequently got fired and ended up starting my original business on unemployment checks in a little tiny condo right in Tempe on a kitchen table. We built prototypes in manufacturing, and my first product was a little product for the automotive industry, and started making it. And then a number of years later, I had a partner that I had met that just had graduated from the University of Wyoming, and we started engineering products together, and we started in manufacturing. And then in 1996, got into contract manufacturing from a customer asking if we could help them out on a project, and kind of the rest is history. But literally started on unemployment checks.
Got to start somewhere. How about you, Shauna?
So, the question about being receptive to new ideas and changes, the manufacturing industry is constantly changing, and there's constantly new ideas. And I am one that I'm constantly watching YouTube videos, LinkedIn videos, and you have to be receptive to new ways of doing things. Otherwise, you're going to be left behind in the industry. Someone's going to be able to do it faster and cheaper. And And sometimes vendors will actually come to us with ideas of, hey, I just saw this, can you do this? We are constantly being bombarded with, with vendors asking us to do different things. And as a team, we have to come up with new ideas to be able to meet the customer's demands in a cost-effective way. And I constantly tell everyone here, it's about the best way of doing something, not my way of doing something. And you have to work together as a team to figure out the best way with new ideas.
Okay. And one more question has come in. Is your network protected against IoT, Internet of Things threats? Do you even allow IoT devices on your network?
We do on our intranetwork because some of our equipment runs that way.
Makes sense.
You know what? I would have to defer that to our cybersecurity specialist. We are compliant to a CMMC level 3. And so I am not sure on the requirements on that.
Fair enough. So we are pretty much out of time. That worked out perfectly. I appreciate, again, thank you very much, David and Shauna, for sharing your businesses with us and sharing some of the opportunities that students and people in general have an opportunity to work in manufacturing. And I look forward to doing some of these events in the future. So again, thank you very much. And you guys have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
Bye.